(2023) Fresh headache for Atiku as top Southeast PDP stakeholders reject campaign list, gives reasons. Can you imagine? So Atiku has more trouble in the PDP, not just the trouble with Wike and his G5 group. Now another set of trouble from Southeast based on campaign list composition. This guy will have a lot to handle. All right, so let's see what they have to say. The ambition of Atiku Abubakar is faced with a major backlash as the crisis in the opposition PDP worsens. This time around, the stakeholders of the PDP in Imo State have rejected the campaign council list of the party's flag bearer a few months before the 2023 general elections. Meanwhile, the aggrieved stakeholders maintained they were not consulted before compiling the list while describing the list as fake. Stakeholders of the Imo State chapter of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) have disowned the membership list of the Atiku Presidential Campaign Council in the state, alleging that the list was populated by fake names and as such unacceptable. Oh boy. The aggrieved stakeholders noted that the National Working Committee of the party had directed that for the Presidential Campaign Council to be constituted, the stakeholders of the party must widely be consulted and that the State Executive Committee should ratify the list. The aggrieved PDP stakeholders give more reasons. According to a report by the News Telegraph, former House of Assembly member for Okigwe local government, Honorable Ngozi Ogbu, on behalf of the stakeholders and elders on Monday, November, said, "We wish to use this medium to inform the party that the stakeholders of the party in Imo State were invited to a stakeholders meeting to discuss the composition of the Presidential Campaign Council and Campaign Management Council, but to our surprise, the secretary of the party, Ray Emana, proceeded to read out a list of members of the Presidential Campaign Council and Management Committee Council. Continuing, he said, this led to serious disagreement as many of the stakeholders opposed the announcement of the list of the members of the Presidential Campaign Council, describing the same as fake and as an imposition, as stakeholders were never consulted. Ogbu further stressed, we must recognize that His Excellency Emeka Ihedioha is an aspirant for the position of governorship of Imo State. There are so many other aspirants for that position. Therefore, it is untidy to impose him and his cronies on the party as leaders of the Presidential Campaign Council." Wow. So this is what is happening now in Imo State. All right. Originally, they have agreed that for them to compile the list, for them to get all the inputs, they must consult the stakeholders across the country from all the states across the country for them to be carried along and to get their input into the Presidential Campaign Council list for Atiku Abubakar. Now, in the case of Imo State, they said they were called for stakeholders meeting, only to get there, and then they started reading out the list, meaning it was already completed before they called for the stakeholders meeting, meaning they didn't consult them for their input as well. So meaning that they have compiled it, they have made their input elsewhere, and now want to impose the list on them. And then after reading out the name, the Imo chapter of the PDP said, no, you people have composed this list already. We have Emeka Ihedioha and as a governorship aspirant in the state, and so other people vying for other positions. You cannot impose names on us. So unilaterally, they rejected that list, calling on them to probably review that list. They have to work it again because they call the list fake. They said the list is fake. So now, what are they going to do about it? That is the next question. Is Atiku ready to work to, to decompose and recompose that list again? Is Atiku ready to waste all the time? Because right now, time is going. Other parties have moved on with their campaign. APC just started theirs, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, and PDP is still struggling with list up till now. How many months do they have to campaign? They barely have half of this month with December and January next year to campaign, because election is February 25th next year. So the more they struggle with this list, the more they are wasting time. But again, what do they stand to benefit? Both in Labour Party, in PDP, in APC, in NNPP, the four major contending parties, the problem has been composition of presidential campaign council. Who should make the list across the country? I don't understand. So what is there a special benefit in being a member of that list or being integrated in that list? Is there a particular amount that Nigerian Electoral Commission will pay them? INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, or is there a special amount that the presidential aspirant of that party will pay them? Because across all the parties, this fight is trending. Everybody is fighting. His name must be there. When Tinubu brought out his own list too for APC, there was fight everywhere across all the states. The names that made the list and the names that did not make the list, marginalization here, marginalization there. Now PDP is still yet far from also resolving its own list of presidential campaign council across the country. I know that campaign will go on across all the states, and all the stakeholders across all the states will make that list. But what is so important that people are fighting to make up that list? If you are not there, what's wrong? You got to find other roles to play, or you got to find other things to do. I see this as act of joblessness, act of idleness, because people that have meaningful and productive jobs they are doing, and if the people have such jobs in their hand, fighting to make up the list of presidential campaign council will not be a priority. Unfortunately, that is not what we're seeing here. People are fighting to make up the list. Wow. Now, just one comment here. Somebody saying, let him go. Atiku is the next president. So what I say is that let the aggrieved people of Imo State and their leader, let them go. If they agree, fine. If they don't agree, that's fine. Atiku is the next president. So Atiku cannot be next president when it's not moving forward now. When there's so much fracas in the party. He has a problem with already G5 governors. And already the governor of Bauchi, there's also a rumor that he might join the G5 to make up the G6. So and that trouble between Atiku and the G5 governors is far from being settled. There's also a separate problem between Atiku and Samuel Otom, who said he will never vote in a Fulani into power again based on what the Fulanis under this current regime have done to the people of Benue State. That one too is far from resolution. Now, another one again, the problem of making up the list for the presidential campaign council from all the states across the country for Atiku's presidential campaign to commence earnestly. That's still far from resolving that list. There's more to this than meet the eyes. And Atiku, everything is also working against him in this his presidential ambition. And I learned that this is his last opportunity. After now, by reason of his age, will not be able to contest again, especially himself and Tinubu. And that's probably why they are fighting with all their last might, with all their strength to make it this time around. Because after now, no more for them again. This is the last chance they have based on their age. So this is what is happening to Atiku in PDP by not being able to make up his presidential campaign council easily. And now there's a protest from the Imo State Division of the PDP. So let's have your comment below on the many troubles Atiku is facing in PDP for him to move forward and possibly to win this election if possible. Thank you for listening. Let's have your comment.